Hi, this is Chong Kim, and welcome to part 5 of Chess in Ruby. Okay, so let's see where we left off. Okay, so we have this problem, and I think one of the things that we should do is to put some more information on this. So what I'm going to do is under 2s, um, I'm going to print out some more of the properties of the position. So I want to print out the board, um, the turn. So castling. So if it's empty, I want it to put a dash, otherwise castling altogether. So castling. Then the en passant square. So en passant, otherwise it's going to be a dash. And the half move and the full move. So half move and the full move. Okay. Okay. So I see that there is a problem here. It's trying to do d4. So it looks like d4 is this square, and it's white to move. So it's going to be one of these. So this pawn actually is supposed to be able to move there. But the problem is this d4 over here. This is the en passant square, and this was not supposed to be set. So let's see why that is set. So okay, so let's go to the move. So when you're moving a piece, okay, that, okay, so when you're making a move, the en passant square is being set over here. So let's take a look at the code for that. Okay, we see the problem here. The problem is that if the difference in the value is greater than 8, so if it's on a diagonal, then it allows it. So to be more specific, this should really be 16, and this should really be equal, because it should be exactly 2 squares in front. So, so that should be the problem. Okay, looks like it's going a lot further. And now we're stuck on king takes g5. Okay, king takes g5, everything looks good. So, all right, so if it takes g5, okay, so what I'm going to do is start the debugger. So what I'm going to do, it's gone quite a few, so it's about 100 games. Okay, so now we're about 100 games into this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and make that into a test. So, okay, so we have an en passant test here. So, game, what game is this? 101. So 101. Okay. So there's a problem. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in there first and set up the test. Oops. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I just created some aliases. Okay, so the position is going to be with the board set up in this way. And actually, I think I could just, Alright, so I don't really need this over here. Okay, and let me line this up. Okay. Okay, so we have the board position, and let's see if any of the other things need to be set up as well. So white, the castling. Okay, so we see that the castling is incorrect, but we'll fix that later. We'll just remember that remember for later to handle and do testing on the castling. Okay, the en passant and everything else looks fine, so we'll just leave it like this. So the move is it makes a move of king takes g5. King takes g5. Okay, so we expect this not to throw an error. So I'm going to turn this into curly braces so I could say not to raise error. All right. All right, so now we have an immediate failure. Okay, the reason why I want to do this is so that we have a record of this failure, and also I'll be able to debug this a lot easier. So I could tap into this with the debugger. Okay. All right, so we're in the debugger and we just made a move. And okay, so far, okay, so good. All right, so what we're interested in is the selection process. Let's get to the selection process. It's going to take a little. All right, so let's take a look at the list. So it's 22. So we have something there. And we go through the next two filters, and list should still be 22. That's good. All right, so now this is going to be where the problem lies. Okay, so it's going to move the piece. And let's see what the temp looks like. Okay, so this looks like a pretty good position. And is it in check? So we, let's do that. Temp in check. And this should return false because there should be nothing giving the king a check. But return true. So let's step into this. All right, so we have the king, and this step is to figure out see B1, okay, B135. Okay, continue. All right, so and we'll just display find opponent piece king IDX. Okay. All right, so it's empty, and let's display the piece. Display opponent piece. Okay, so we have that. So we continue, and this is a knight, so no knights are attacking the king. No bishops are attacking the king. No queens are attacking the king. No kings are attacking the king. It says that there's a pawn attacking the king on 14. So 14 is the G7 square. So so the G7 square is this. So it thinks that this pawn is attacking the king. So this looks like there's a problem with find. So let's just quit out of this. We don't need the debugger anymore. Okay, and we should look at find. We'll save this for now. And so we know the problem is with find. Okay, so we're at find, and it's with the pawn move, and it thinks that the pawn is able to move 2 squares, and which is over here. So we can see what the problem is here. This says, if we take a look at the other pawn moves, it says you can move a pawn up 1 square as long as the target square is empty. This doesn't have that test. Okay, so all this it says is that it's at the home row, but it doesn't say that the piece that you land on has to be empty. So we can add that. And target piece is empty. Okay. Okay, that's good. All right, so we went past that point. Now we're at a different point. Okay, so let's take a look at this situation. H, so whose turn is it? It's white's turn. Here's H, takes G5, but there is no G5. It's very interesting. So it looks like there's a pawn that kind of disappeared. Well, actually, it doesn't. It says H takes G5, but it doesn't say that it's a pawn. So it could be any piece. So there's supposed to be a piece over here. So there's something wrong. So let's see which game this is. Okay, so we made it up to game 121. All right, so let's take a look at game 21 and pay attention to this particular square to see if a piece disappeared. And as we're going along, we'll validate the move and the position. So, and it's actually quite a ways there. It looks like the full move is 47, so it's going to be 47 moves into it. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, this is game 121. Okay, we have to wait until the program catches up. Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to be looking over here. Actually, it'd be better if I looked over here. All right, so let's see. The pieces look like they're moving as expected. Pawn up, pawn takes, bishop back, knight out. Okay, knight, develop castles. I have to fix the castle thing because it's kind of annoying. Actually, I'll do that right now because it seems like that should be a very simple fix. So we should make a test for it, and the test will see when you make a move. I'll just do it right above here, so context. Castling. I'll just do it here. Do it with the okay. Castling. Okay. Okay, so let's say that we have a king on e1 and rook on h1, and I'll say that move castle, and the property is that the castling should, well, okay, it should equal, well, we have the king, queen, king, queen, but one of them should be gone. It's white's king should be gone. All right. All right, so let's go fix that. Castling. So we know that it's with the move handle, move piece, and then we have handled castle. So we're going to do it for this and for the long castle. So at the end of this, we can just remove it from the list. So at castling, delete. I wonder if I can. Okay, so if I have a list and I say delete 2. Okay, so I think maybe I might get away with that. So a is equal to 1, 2, a dot delete 2. Okay, and let's see a. Okay, a has it removed. So we can just say delete. So delete, so depending on whose turn it is, it's either going to be the king, white king, or the black king. Okay, and we'll do the same thing over here, except that it'll be on the queen side, so capital Q or lowercase q. Okay. Oh, interesting. It still has the same problem. So the move was castling, and it should have expected this, but it still has that. Handle long castle. Okay. Very surprising. Okay, let's take a look at this again. All right, let's look at the test. Okay, we say to castle, and that should equal this. All right, so let's tap it. Um, all right, so it's not move piece, but it would be done through this. So okay, raise illegal move if such and such. Okay, then move the piece. Let's print out the situation now, the self, and we see that the castling is there, and this next thing should remove the item. Okay, so next, and now we should take a look, and we see that it is gone. So why doesn't it persist? So let's see. Okay, let's take a look at the position. And we can see that the king is definitely not there. So everything looks fine. And okay, so no problem. And it returns the position. Okay, so far so good. I'm just jumping out of all of this. Well, it looks like it actually succeeded, so I'm quite puzzled. Let me continue. Okay, I'm going to quit out of this and take out the debugger because this should have worked because we just saw that it worked for the castling. All right, so if it doesn't work, then there's something really okay. So it's this is a very silly error. I said it, but I was supposed to say subject. Okay, so that was just an oversight. Okay, so now the castling looks good. Okay. All right, so okay, let's take a look at this error. So we're looking at game. Okay, what game is this? Game 121. All right, let's quit out and RSpec this again. Game 121. Game 121. All right, so let's take a look. I'm just seeing if any piece lands on this square, then I'll slow down. Actually, it was G5. So here's a piece that got placed there. It moved out of the way. Oh, that was really interesting. That pawn disappeared as if it was en passant. The queen made a move as if it was like a pawn. But that, so the queen made a move like en passant, but it's not, it should only be a pawn. So that's the error. So we should take a look at making the move and handling en passant. So that would be, okay, so we can write a test for that. All right, so the test is it's actually another en passant with piece. This is en passant. So en passant with piece. Okay, should not happen. So for example, if I have a position where I have a pawn on E, actually not a pawn, but a queen on E5 and a pawn on F5, and I try to do a move queen to F6. Actually, I have to specify that the en passant square is F6. Then if I try to move the queen to F6, then it should all be there. So it expects the position F5 to still be there to equal lowercase p. Okay, so this bombs immediately, and so this reproduces the error. And we can go back and take a look at where this happens. So it's when a piece is moved and updated. So it should be handle move piece. Okay, so this is the filtering. Illegal move. So let's see if there's anything about en passant. Oh, it's probably under, could it be under move piece? Actually, this is where it is. If the target square is en passant, then you remove it. But this only applies to a pawn. So we need to say piece upcase is equal to a pawn. So only if it's a pawn do you want to act like the en passant. So we forgot this. So let's see. Okay, so it's going much further. And as a matter of fact, it finished. So this seems like it completes this file. If we want to be more sure of how our program is doing, we could do it on a larger file. But I think this handles pretty much a lot of cases. And let's take a look at some of the illegal situations that might occur, which aren't covered by the files. That some things we know from the rules. One rule is that you can't castle through check, and we don't have any tests. So this test is make legal moves. So let's see. this matches with this end. So I'm going to create a new test, make illegal, I'll say handle illegal moves. Okay, so castling. Can't castle through check. And you can't land on, well actually, yeah, you can't castle through check. So I'll say, okay, so let's set up a position. Okay, so I believe that this is the only other exceptional case, and we're done with all the legal moves. Then we can start working on generating all the possible moves. And generating all possible moves should be fairly easy once we have all the legal moves taken care of. But before that, we should refactor. Okay, so handle illegal moves. So this is a case where we have a position. Okay, so let's set up a board. Okay, and we have 8 dashes, and okay, actually we could just copy this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we have a board, and we have a king here, and we have a rook here. And the king is going to end up here. So let's put a lowercase b here. So you have a bishop going right down here, and castling should, if we move castle, this should raise an error. So we expect this to raise illegal move, to raise error. Okay, so let's see if that does. Oh, well, actually we have to wait until all of this is done. And, oh, uninitialized constant illegal move. Well, actually, we'll just leave it as raise error. The reason why is because it's actually part of the position, so position illegal move. But let's just say it shouldn't raise any error. Okay. Handle illegal moves should raise exception, but it didn't raise an exception. But nothing was raised. Okay. So let's actually, what I want to do is I want to put this on top of this because testing for the legal moves takes a long time. So if I do it this way, okay, it happens pretty quickly. All right, so let's go take a look at the code, and castling is done over here. So we do the piece movement, but one of the things that we don't do, which we do in here, is we do a check to see if, okay, so I'm just going to copy this and and just put it as let's see, let's select, actually there's no select. Okay, so we want to see if after you've moved whether it would still be in check. Okay, so move. Actually, we don't need this. We can just say in check. So Okay, so raise illegal move if in check. Okay, and we can do the same thing over here. After you make the move, make sure that you're not in check. Okay, so it passes. Okay. All right, great. So the next thing is you can't go through check. Okay, so that means that let's set up a situation. It'll be handle illegal moves. I'll just instead of saying handle illegal moves, it's just really two cases, which is can't land on check after castle, obviously, and can't go through check on castle. Okay, so that means that if I move the bishop over here, this is covering this square, so the king is not able to go through. So this would also raise an error. So let's see. And it doesn't raise an error. So now we have to put a little check in here. So for the castle, long castle, and short, we have to make sure that let's try to find a piece. So we also want to raise illegal move. Actually, we can probably put it as part of this, or you can't go through check. So the square is, okay, white turn is on F1 or F8. Okay, so this is a square that's going to be checked. And if any of the pieces, so the pieces would be, actually, let's put it as a string. After this, after we do this, I really do want to refactor. I think this is probably the last test, and then once this passes, we'll do some refactoring. Rook, okay, all the pieces that can attack the king are rook, knight, bishop, queen, king, pawn. Okay, and then we have to convert this. If it's white, it depends on whose turn it is. So if it's white's turn, then you want to say down case, because we're looking for black pieces. Down case, guess habit. Okay, down case and up case. All right, and then wow, this is actually getting kind of long here. So basically, all I want to do is, so instead I'm going to just write it as a function. So in check or let's see, piece attack, I guess. Attacked, and we'll give it a square. So white turn F1, F8. Okay, so attacked. All right, so attacked with a question mark. All right, so that should fail. And let's write attacked. Okay, so I'll do it right. Okay, context. Attacked. So we set up a position where, let's see, rook on e4, and okay, and this is based on whose turn it is. Let's see. All right, so I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to pass in the color. I think we'll just do it based on turn for now, and if we need to, we'll modify this. So you have a piece on rook e4, and you want to say whether or not this is attacked, like a certain square is attacked. Attacked actually it would be black square, so rook e4. Okay, so it's black rook on e4 and attacked, and you give it a square, say e2. And yes, this is attacked by, so this should be true. Okay, so if you have a position where it is a white rook and you ask it whether or not it's being attacked on e2, then this should be false because it's your own piece. So let's just see, and attacked is undefined, so now we create attack. Okay. Okay, so it's actually the code right here. So attacked. So you get rook, knight, bishop, queen, king, pawn. Actually, it's right here. This is exactly it. And okay. And yeah, you need this one as well. Okay. And we can actually replace this with attacked. So you can say attacked on the king square. Okay. So in check, if the king, if there is a king, then is it attacked on the king square? Okay, so that's what a check it means. Okay, so it actually reduces a lot of the code. Find the king, and all right. So okay, attacked. All right. So let's see. Wrong number of arguments, 1 for 0. Oh, attack. We didn't specify. It needs an index, so IDX. So this should be IDX now. Okay, everything looks good. So we're going to do some refactoring. So let's see. Not really sure how long this has gone, but I think this is a good stopping point so that I can check in the code and start working on the next phase, which is to refactor. Because right now the way the code looks, it's kind of messy. And the reason why it's messy is because when we started writing this code, we didn't know exactly what we needed. So we were writing things on the fly and we were defining things, but we weren't really sure exactly how it should be defined. And so going through this experience, you find you learn a bit. And the next time, if we were to write it again, which is basically what refactoring means, is to rewrite the code, uh, with the knowledge that we have, how would we have written it originally? And so we can start eliminating some redundant code and fix up some of the concepts of what we were trying to do, because we're just more knowledgeable. So see how many lines of code we have. We have about 213 lines, but more importantly, it is a little bit hard to read and navigate. So I think that this can look smaller. So so we're done with the testing, and maybe if we have time, we can bring in a much larger PGN file so we can see if there's any kind of weird situation that we forgot. So, so see you in the next episode.